didn't have time to get to the actual pantry and stuff and the cupboards. But that's gonna happen probably this weekend.
Well, as you can probably see from at least a little bit of the background, my kitchen is also cluttered.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to do a power clean myself at some point.
I actually even found my table. I don't think we've sat at our table for a year. That sounds pretty bad, but
It becomes a coat rack.
right, exactly. And yeah, I ate supper on my table, and it was like, well, I'm like sitting there, like, wow, I don't actually have to have like a can of pop or something.
I feel
I
like
can
you're
actually have
almost,
an open glass.
it feels like you're in like a hotel room. It's like, wow, this is so open.
Right?
I
No,
don't
it
even
was.
have this room in my house.
Yes. All right, here we go. Let's hit some music. Welcome to the Fandemic. This is a podcast about talking to different people, finding out what they're a fan of or what their fandemic is, and how we each level up our awesome. I know a little bit of something about that. I literally wrote the book, Leveling Up My Awesome, on sale on Amazon right now. So now this is all a lot of fun. I like to talk with people that I may or may not know. So my name is, I am the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butane, and this is Nick Hermann. Welcome to the Fandemic.
Bradley, I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So we are streaming live on the YouTube, on the Twitch, and on the Facebook Live. So, Nick, we're talking a little bit earlier about just all the normal stuff. What brings you to the Fandemic?
Well, what brings me to the Fandemic is my friend Bradley sent me an email and said, "Would you like to be on the Fandemic?" And I said, "Yes, I would." And we can
Yes.
talk about all the nerdy things. Let's just get right into something. My friend Jim Gerling and I talk about this all the time. You mentioned Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how Thanos could have easily been just gettable if Star-Lord just wouldn't have, ruined it?
Yeah.
Like, I watch that part all the time, and it's like, come on, dude. Like,
Right.
you could have just waited like 5 seconds. 5 seconds, and you could have just like beat the crap out of him, no problem. Yeah.
And along those lines, Doctor Strange, he says that he watched like however many million ways, and this was the one way.
Yeah.
That's the one way that had the outcome that he wanted.
Right.
Right. So who's to say there wasn't other ways that Tony Stark didn't die? Maybe
True.
Doctor Strange wanted Tony Stark to die.
Yeah. I never thought about that, but you're totally right.
And I mean, Stephen Strange, I mean, he's known for being, an asshole. I mean, he's a prick. I mean, that's part of the character of Stephen Strange.
What did you think of the second Doctor Strange movie?
I loved it, man.
I thought it was. Everyone, when it first came out, everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's like so different." Like, I just didn't like it, and I was like, I went and saw it. I thought that it was really good. It was kind of a cool change of pace. It was almost like WandaVision meets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it kind of had some, like, well, obviously Wanda was in it, but it was just dark.
It was a horror movie. I mean, it was directed by Sam Raimi. I mean, it was literally the Evil Dead in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And I mean, who doesn't want that?
I thought it was cool.
I mean, I love especially when it comes to Sam Raimi. I love his horror, like Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. That has my heart. And so when I was kind of worried he was going to go the Spider-Man 1 or 2 route,
right?
But he didn't. And I mean, like when Zombie Strange, spoiler alert, is the hero of the movie, my heart was full.
So let's also talk about that. The Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, Tobey Maguire. What are your thoughts?
I love him as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2,
yeah,
is probably at least in the top 5 comic book movies ever.
So they got a lot of hate, right?
Mhm.
And I think they're like fine wine. I think they've aged well. But if you think about it at the time, like the Spider-Man at that time in 02 and 05 and 07, I think those were the release years, maybe 04, 02,
Yeah,
04,
close
07.
enough. Yeah.
Um, those those were essentially like the Avengers of our time,
Mhm.
right? They were so big, they were so massive, it hadn't been done before. And so I think about that, and I watch those movies. It's like, this is kind of cool. Like this was all the rage. No one could believe that we were making a real movie. And it was good, and I love the Spider-Man movies.
So who's your Spider-Man?
Like my favorite one.
Mhm. Who's your favorite
Yeah,
Spider-Man?
who's like if I think of Spider-Man, who do I think of? That's a great
Right.
question. That's a great question. It's not Andrew Garfield.
Mhm.
It's probably either Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland.
You know, and I'm the same way. I mean, like I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man, current Spider-Man, but Toby kind of
He
was the comic book version of Peter Parker.
I read some of the Amazing Spider-Man comics back in like 2014,
Mhm.
and I think that Spider-Man reminded me more of the Tom Holland character than the Toby character. However, in my head, Toby was just the first one that we all saw. So
Yeah.
and I feel like his Spider-Man costume is the most realistic one.
Until the end of the newest one, when
Yes.
with Tom Holland, yeah.
Yes,
And
I would
until
agree.
then, now I will say, with knowing that, like my two favorite, I mean, they go back and forth depending on my mood, pretty much, with between Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire. Andrew Garfield stole Far From Home.
I would agree.
He was like, out of the three, he was my favorite. He was my favorite Spider-Man in that movie.
I like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I'm not saying I don't like him. It's just
Mhm.
he doesn't come to mind when I think of Spider-Man. But that movie I saw in theaters on, I think it was on opening night.
Mhm.
And anytime you watch a Marvel movie in theaters, maybe growing up I just didn't have this, but when you went to theaters, I feel like people would laugh and whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like now especially people freak out in movie theaters. So seeing an opening night, it's not only the experience of watching the movie, but it's watching the movie with everyone else. And
Yeah.
and so I remember I'm in the theater and Andrew Garfield comes out and it's like everyone's like, oh, just cheering. And then Tobey Maguire comes out and it gets even louder.
Right.
I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about it. It was such
Yeah.
a crazy cool moment.
Right. And I wish they would actually do that. And I think, honestly, I think we will, because I mean, one of the so we got the next Avengers movie is going to be the Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
And then after that's going to be Secret Wars. So I don't know how well are you in the comic world.
So I know enough to get by, but
Okay.
I'm not fully like the Secret Wars thing. I know enough to be dangerous, but not.
Right. So here's a little trivia question for you. What Secret Wars character, or what character is the most famous for coming out of Secret Wars?
I don't know. I watched a series on it, and I don't remember. I know there is one, but I don't remember.
The black suited Spider-Man.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, in the original Secret Wars, that is where Peter Parker gets the symbiote and
Really?
becomes the black suited Spider-Man. Yeah. And then, so that's actually the birthplace of Venom,
Huh.
So, but Secret Wars and Kang it's going to play this. Now, have you seen Ant-Man, the new
Yeah.
Ant-Man yet?
No, I haven't. I need to see that.
Yeah, it's really good. I won't spoil anything for you, but Kang is amazing in it. So I like my I like things that entertain me. Like, I don't get overly critical with and pretty much anything, right? I like, my thing is like, am I entertained? Was it at least a little bit entertaining? And if it was, then I'm not going to complain about it. But like, I mean, a lot of movies, I'm like, okay, was there any redeeming qualities? So, and like, I really liked Thor: Love and Thunder.
See, I didn't.
Yeah.
I saw that in theaters by myself. I was traveling on the road for my job. I was in Davenport, and I was bored, so I went and saw it by myself. And like, I don't even remember the reason why I didn't like it. I just got out of there. I was like, I didn't like that movie. I just didn't feel very entertained by it. I thought the humor felt very forced, whereas Marvel movies, like I could say all like movies in the Disney world right now, kind of have that like funny sense of humor Disney
Mm-hmm.
thing working.
A
This
hee
one,
instead of haha.
yes, this one felt very much over the top
Mm-hmm.
that way, which is fine. I mean, the movie was. It's not that it was a terrible movie. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing about movies. I mean, that's your opinion. I
Right.
like for me, I like what I love comic book Thor. I
Yeah.
don't want a super I don't want a super serious Thor because I don't think the character he's the god of thunder. I mean, like I don't think it's too hard to take him serious.
Right.
But I mean, I'm a father of 3 girls, from 10 to 20. So, like this is Thor's becoming a dad, I mean,
Right.
like by then he's a dad and he's got a girl. And so I relate to that in a different way than other people.
Right. I so let's switch. I'm going to switch gears here wholeheartedly,
Mhm,
sort of. So talking about like seeing a movie in theaters,
mhm.
what did you think of the Star Wars sequels?
So I am a huge, huge, huge Star Wars fan. My daughter's name is
As am I.
Leia.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah. So I and actually a little up so I'm doing a new series called A Lone Star. The first episode comes out on audio actually tomorrow.
Nice.
On anywhere you get this podcast. So if you sign into the Fandemic, really you get 3 shows every week. You're going to get on Wednesdays you're going to get Prevenge of the Nerds. We have one drop today. And then on Thursday you're going to get a Lone Star, which is just me, a 20-minute episode where I talk about a movie and I review the bad reviews of it.
Nice.
And then on Friday you get the Fandemic. So and that's actually just starting this week. All 3 shows. But I started with the Lone Stars. I started where everybody should start, Star Wars. So my first 18 episodes of a Lone Star is going to be Star Wars. So we're going to go from I'm going episode 1 all the way through 9, and then I'm going to hit Rogue One, Rogue One's
Yep.
Solo, the god awful Andor series,
Yep.
and go through everything. So what do I think of the final 3? I liked The Force Awakens.
Yep.
The Last Jedi was
Yep.
and in Rise of the Skywalker was fine.
Yep.
Nothing. I mean, it was nothing right home. The big mistake that I feel that they made with with the sequel trilogy was they never had one scene where Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill were together.
Yep. They had, yeah, I think that's what an incredible opportunity.
Yeah.
For those 3, the original 3, you're going to have them in the same movie. Why are they not together?
Yeah.
So frustrating. So I remember I went to Force Awakens on opening night, December 15th, 2015.
So did I. I waited at the theater in Jordan Creek, Iowa for 7 hours.
I did too. We went in Ankeny. Me and my friend Grant Luther went, and we waited. We got tickets. We got the souvenir buckets, popcorn buckets.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted everything.
Mhm.
Watching that movie in theaters was one of the probably the coolest movie theater experience I've ever had.
Yeah.
There was so much, and after that movie, you had so many questions and so many. It was so much wonder. It was fun, and the scenes that really stick out in my mind. The one especially is when the Millennium Falcon pops out. That ship is garbage, and they pan over, and it's like, oh, we'll do the garbage. We'll do. Everyone's cheering, and the hands are up in the air. It was so cool. I'm getting goosebumps again. And then like first time Harrison Ford pops out, everyone's screaming, and then Carrie Fisher pops out, everyone's screaming. It's just what a cool experience. I think 8 was probably the worst Star Wars by far. I
Even more than 2.
yes, I like 2.
You like Attack of the Clones?
I like 2.
Wow. Okay.
Listen, I know the acting is horrid. I know.
Yeah.
But I was 7 when that movie came out.
Okay. So
like that, I don't notice bad acting when I'm 7. I just notice, oh my God, this is so cool, and all the Jedi are cool, and I love the story. So I mean, I can kind of look past it, and I liked 1 too. Everyone hated 1. I liked it.
I mean, they all have their good and bad qualities.
Yes,
they really do.
Yes. What do you rank them? Rank them, not including just only the first 6.
Okay, the first 6.
Yeah, you're first.
Well, obviously, Empire Strikes Back. It will be number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 would be A New Hope.
Okay.
Number 3 would be Revenge of the Sith.
Mhm.
Number 4
Really?
would
Oh, you would put A New Hope over Return of the Jedi.
yep.
Okay.
The number 4 would be Return of the Jedi, and then it would be Phantom Menace, and last would be Attack of the Clones.
Okay. I think I would go 3, 5. So it'd be for 1 would be Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
2 would be Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
3 would be Return of the Jedi. 4 would be I'm sorry to say it. 4 would probably be Phantom Menace, then A New Hope, then Attack of the Clones.
Nice. Yeah.
That said, though, even though like it's last, I still love the movie. Like,
Yeah.
it does. It's not like, oh, you hate. Why do you hate that movie? It's like I don't hate it. I just like it the least.
Right, and that I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna watch it.
Right.
Like, I could be critical of it and still enjoy it. I mean, even the last, I do a complete rewatch, which I'm getting ready to start up.
Nice.
A complete rewatch of Star Wars every year, because I mean, Mandalorian season 3 started today. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it. I was going to watch it after this. In fact.
Okay, cool. I'm actually planning on hopping on with a buddy of mine. We're gonna we might even do a quick little talk about it. But I will say, I love Mandalorian.
I did too.
Love it so much. I think we're gonna get Snoke and or the First Order in this season.
I hope so.
Which would be cool. And I will. My only real criticism is I want Din Djarin to put the creed behind him and be like, I can take off my helmet. I don't care. Like I Grogu is my family now. I'm never with the armor or there. I'm always, doing whatever. I'm a mercenary.
And he kind of abandoned the Mandalorians. So like that's just kind of him now.
Right. It's a clan of 2. It's him and Grogu. I mean, and I won't spoil the first episode, but it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty good.
It is good. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, out of all the other, besides the main saga, so besides the 9 movies, what's your favorite thing?
It's got to be Mandalorian.
Okay.
I didn't dislike Boba Fett. I think Boba Fett got a lot of hate, and I actually liked it. As I was watching it, I really enjoyed it. I'd never watched Andor. I didn't hear great things about it.
I hated it.
Yeah, I think the Disney series, like, I'm sorry, I'm probably a bandwagon fan, but everyone says, oh, I get so tired to hear about the Skywalkers and the Sidious's and the Palpatines and the Organas and like the main people, and it's kind of like, that's really all I want to hear about.
Right, I know. I'm the same way.
I don't know that I really care about old Jeffrey over here that never got a storyline. It's like he didn't get a storyline for a reason because he's boring.
I want to see a movie about Broom Boy from The Last Jedi. I mean, in me saying I hate Andor, I'm still gonna watch it when I do my rewatch. So like, and I'm good because I'm gonna watch everything in chronological order. Yeah. I mean, I loved Kenobi.
Oh my God,
Kenobi was fantastic, and
it was so good.
Bad Batch.
Gosh.
Have you watched Bad Batch?
No.
Watch it. Bad Batch. It's on Disney Plus. It's animated. Yeah, it's an animated show, and Bad Batch has no right to be as good as it is.
Really,
none. I mean, I was a fan of Clone Wars, but Clone Wars is like, you got to take it like, okay, this is made for kids, and then let's get to the Ahsoka, let's get to the Jedi stuff. That's what I care about. I don't care about these stupid little subplots, whatever. So you got to take out the grain of salt, but. Rebels was that way for the first season, and then they figured out that wait, we have an adult following. Okay, so we could maybe turn it up a little bit. But Bad Batch is a freaking amazing.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be. The premise is just rogue clones from the Clone Wars, which and then, man, it should not be good.
Yeah.
It is so amazing. I mean, you will start it and you'll just go through it. You'll end up binging season 1. They're on season 2 right now. New episodes came out today actually,
Nice.
and I didn't watch them. But I did watch Mandalorian, and
So,
the day's not over yet because I gotta keep my ass up till midnight to go see Creed 3.
oh heck
So,
yeah. So, Mandalorian did many things correct. Number one, they put Baby Yoda. Everyone fell in love with Grogu. Everyone fell in love with Grogu. He became this huge trend. Then you bring in, let's see, what came first, Ahsoka or Luke?
Luke.
So you bring in Luke, computer CGI Luke that
Mhm.
looked pretty freaking good,
Yeah.
and he got the scene that he needed to
Yes.
make Luke Skywalker Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing at I really didn't love Rogue One. Everyone loved it, and I didn't hate it. I just, to me, it was fine,
Yeah.
except for the Darth Vader scene at the end, which everyone needed to see. I would
Right.
love for them to make a Vader spinoff that just shows how horribly evil he was.
I have a theory about that.
What's that?
My theory is we will get a Vader, and Vader will pretty much be Kenobi season 2.
I hope so. I hope so.
It's the only way they can do it.
Yep, I would agree. I would totally agree. But we finally get to see, number one, how powerful he was, how much of a badass he was. And like, what people don't like know is that suit that he's in is like basically torturing
Keeping him alive. Yeah. And yeah,
it's keeping him alive, but it also hurts. Like
Mhm.
he's just in constant pain and discomfort, which makes him more angry.
and that's why the Emperor did it.
Exactly.
Right.
It's so cool, and to see that play out, to just like fuel his anger and see it, that's so cool. And then on the flip side, Luke Skywalker was freaking powerful. Like,
Mhm.
he's the offspring of Anakin. So to get his scene where you get to see him be that powerful Jedi in The Mandalorian, that's what we all needed to see.
Yeah.
Then you get to see Ahsoka be a total badass with her white lightsabers, which I love that they're now showing different colored lightsabers.
Mhm.
If nothing else came from The Rise of Skywalker, just seeing Rey ignite her yellow lightsaber one time was
Yeah.
cool. That was sick.
Well, so do you know do you know the story behind the white lightsaber and how a lightsaber becomes red?
I used to.
Okay.
In that they have to go down, like they basically like taint it or something. They have to go down in like some area and fuel it with hate or whatever.
Sort of. So in order and they actually do a really good job explaining this in the comic. So the comic takes place in between episode 3 or instead, I'm sorry, instead episode 4 and 5 and then 5 and 6. They're working towards that end right now to return. But so what happens is that in order to get the Crimson Blade, before Disney bought it, it was a synthetic kyber crystal.
Yeah.
But they changed that to the person has to put all their hate into it, and they have to bleed
That's
the
right.
kyber crystal.
That's
It
right.
has to bleed. That's why it's the crimson red.
Yep.
And the white lightsaber is when you take another lightsaber and you heal it. So it's the lack of that color. So you're healing the lightsaber. So I mean, which means like for somebody to be able to do that, I mean, they're pretty powerful Force user, as Ahsoka is.
Right.
Ahsoka is the best thing to come out of the Clone Wars.
100%.
I mean,
100%.
she's probably one of my favorite characters.
I'm so glad they brought her into like the real, like into live action
with
And
Luke.
Yes, exactly. I want to know the conversations that took place. I would love to, and the thing is, I do and I don't, because I think it'd be hard to portray this on screen. But the conversation that took place where he asked questions about his dad,
Mhm.
you know, what was he like? And, you know, and because obviously she has so many memories of him, and what did he teach you, and what were the good things? I don't think that could be, because everyone would want different answers on that thing. I don't think they would ever put that on screen, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. But it would be. It's like when you were little, and I would play with my Lego Star Wars, and you'd play out the scene where you know Anakin wouldn't turn to the dark side. Everyone did it. I don't care who.
Oh yeah, no, we did.
Yeah,
and the same thing. We all played it out that Luke and Leia did go to the dark side.
Yeah, absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
I mean, like that after like Anakin defeated Obi-Wan on Mustafar.
Yep.
And he took the babies from the dead Amidala because she died of a broken heart. Whatever.
She just died.
Right. She just died. But he takes the babies and he raises them away from the emperor, and then when the time is right, he slays the emperor with Luke and Leia, and
Yeah.
they're this huge force. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we've that's head canon. Those are my what ifs that go through my head when I think about Star Wars.
Are you a Lego guy?
I do. I have the only like so I got Legos the Skywalker Saga Legos on the Switch.
Yeah.
As far as like building Legos, I'm just getting my wife into that because
Yeah.
there's no way I'm gonna do it, but I want to look at them done. So it's like,
Really?
hey, so I'm trying to get my wife into like building, and my daughter like loves to build them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so it's kind of like a conspiracy theory to my wife to get her into building the Lego. So I'm like, hey, now we can get the big Millennium Falcon
Right.
and the Death Star. We can put it up on a shelf, and it's gonna be awesome.
I got into Legos right in 2005 when the Revenge of the Sith came out, and I have some cool sets that were out back then, and I progressively just got more and more and more. And my mom said, "What are you going to do when you're older and you have all these Legos?" Blah, 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 blah. And they are really inconvenient. That said, I don't want to get rid of them. I
Right.
really like them, and I keep buying more. Like, I don't know. Like, at what age do you stop buying Legos?
I mean, I'm 43 and I would go buy some today. I make a weekly trip to the comic book store. So,
I just don't know when I decide, yeah, Lego Star Wars sets are just not a good investment. I don't know what age that's going to start, but 27 evidently isn't it. So,
and you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, be you. I mean, man, Star Wars, Marvel, DC. So what do you like better, Marvel or DC?
Marvel. So I really never read any of the DC comics, and The Dark Knight to me is the only thing that was really well done. I haven't seen the new Batman. Everyone says it's good, so I do need that's still on my list of things to see. I did see Justice League in theaters, but I didn't see the extended version that everyone talks about is good, so I still need to see that. I don't know that I have anything against DC other than the Marvel movies to me are more light, just lighter. And I think DCs are more dark. Depending on your personality, obviously you're going to flock to one.
Yeah.
But I think I just have that lighter personality where I flock over there more.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer DC over Marvel, but DC can't figure out the movies yet. Nope. I mean, like, I love Shazam. Shazam is probably one of my favorite DC movies. I mean, because it is a family movie. I mean, part of going to a movie and is the experience. And when I watch a movie with my 10-year-old Leia, and she is just like glued to the TV or to the movie screen, and I'm looking over and I'm like, and I'm seeing Shazam beating something up, and she's just like, wow. Yeah. That is an experience to me, and that's going to make me like it more. Now, as far as comics go, DC characters are better than Marvel. I believe that, but
I'm so not familiar in the comic world. However, I did go through a stunt in college where I read a lot of Wolverine comics.
Wolverine is one of I collect Wolverine comics right now. So out the only Marvel comics that I get are Star Wars, Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra, and Wolverine. Although today I did just buy Rogue and Gambit 1 and then Bloodline 1, which is Blade's daughter, I guess. I didn't even know that. But to me, Marvel's at its best with X-Men. I prefer X-Men over Avengers.
I like both.
Yeah,
I do like both.
And they cross over.
Another thing that they haven't done well yet, except for, I think, Days of Future Past was fantastic.
Days of Future Past was good. They missed it. They had a missed opportunity with Apocalypse. But you know what? I think they got the formula. I do believe we'll get a good X-Men. I mean, we're going to get Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine in Deadpool 3.
To me,
Deadpool's amazing.
I'm sorry. It'd be hard to see another actor play Wolverine. Like, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. Regardless, that Wolverine movie wasn't fantastic, but I still liked it.
Oh, the origins, yeah. But Logan was probably one of the greatest comic book movies ever made.
Yep.
Now, I will say that if they ever do recast Logan, you need to go comic accurate. Just to be different from Hugh Jackman. You need a shorter dude, hairy, buff, and just lean into it. You need to give him the yellow and black
Yep.
suit. I mean,
Absolutely.
you just go comic accurate with him and make him bloody and make him kill people and
Yep.
give him that bloodthirst, give him the rage. Now, with so my favorite Marvel characters are Wolverine, Venom, and Deadpool.
Yep.
I mean, and Cable. I mean, I love Cable as well. But now I have I have a pitch to combine. This is how that you could bring the DC universe and Marvel and make it one.
Yeah.
So if Marvel and DC's listening, here you go. This is free.
Okay.
You center it around Deadpool.
Yeah.
Because Deadpool can break the fourth wall. So
sure.
in my mind, Deadpool is reading DC comics. Superman, Batman, all of them, right?
Yeah.
But then he realizes that Thanos and his Infinity Gauntlet with all the Infinity Stones, he could bring them to the Marvel 616.
That'd be awesome. So
Deadpool sneaks into Thanos's castle, wherever Thanos is, and instead of using the Infinity Gauntlet, he swallows all of the Infinity Stones and then shits them out and leaves them in the toilet for Thanos to find later. But because he swallowed them all, they've all imprinted on him. So Deadpool is now this multi-universal. So now there's Deadpools all over in all these different universes. And so now Deadpool is bringing he brings Batman over to Marvel, but that brings Joker and all this kind of fun stuff and all this and all that. So Deadpool is trying to fix it all, but he can't because now he is part of the Infinity Stones.
So that could work on a multitude of things. I saw this video and it made me bust out laughing. But it was like the Avengers assemble like in Endgame. And then like it shows like all like just the Marvel characters, and then all of a sudden like Batman. Did you see this? Like Batman's coming in, and then like the Green Lantern, and then all of a sudden it's like Jason Bourne is coming in there, and like Jack Sparrow. It was so funny.
Oh yeah,
honestly, for like a Deadpool episode, that would make a lot of sense. Like
right,
hilarious. He just like pulls like just well-known heroes from any universe, not even just DC, just anywhere.
Right.
Like
yeah, he becomes like
Obi-Wan Kenobi pops through.
Right. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. We could get Star Wars to cross over with Marvel because Marvel does own Disney owns Marvel and Disney owns Star Wars. So I mean, a crossover between Marvel and Star Wars, I think they have it figured out, and it's like one of those in case of emergency break glass type things, like, okay, if we ever get below a certain point in sales, guess what? Marvel Star Wars crossover, right? Because everybody wants to see, like, actually, you know what? That's a good question. So who would you like to see take on Darth Vader from the Marvel universe?
Ooh, that's a question. It could be hero or villain.
Yeah, hero or villain, yeah, because he just fuck everybody up. I mean, like Iron Man maybe, but I mean,
you can kind of deflect all the bolts, and he could cut through the suit,
Mm-hmm.
And so,
and he would just crush him with the Force.
Immediately, my thought went to Iron Man, but yeah, you're right. He could just, and so, does the Force go through force fields?
I mean, yeah. Going back to episode 7, and which is one thing I waited for Kylo Ren to do again. He stopped the blaster bolt.
Yeah. When does he do that again?
He doesn't. It's like that is one of the coolest parts of the Force ever, is stopping a freaking blaster bolt and holding it there. Why did that happen anymore?
I will say one thing that I didn't love about the sequels is that the Force started doing things that we didn't know it could do, which I'm fine with. But like the whole healing thing, then it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. I remember Qui-Gon Jinn got stabbed.
I know. Why didn't Obi-Wan do that? Right?
Well, did we just not know about that? Like, that was in the next chapter of training that he hadn't gotten to.
I guess so. But Rey knew how to do it.
He skipped 1 week.
Right.
And his master's dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So who do you think could take on Darth Vader?
I think I would have to think about that. Thor might be a candidate
Thor would be a candidate,
because
and you could be
could Darth Vader, like, could he stop
the
the
Mauler.
hammer with the Force if he's not
Yeah.
worthy? And is
Um.
Vader worthy?
I mean, so I mean that would be that is a good question. Like, could a lightsaber go through Mjolnir? Which I
Right.
don't think it could.
I don't think it could either.
I don't
I would
think.
say no.
Obviously, the winner is going to be whoever the writer deems is the winner, right? Like,
I also don't think that Mjolnir could break a lightsaber either. I think it would
I don't
be
think so either.
basically an equivalent. It would be
I
like
agree.
a lightsaber fight with a hammer. And
Same
then
with vibranium. I think that
yes.
Wolverine could do it.
Captain
Although
America's shield, can he cut through Captain America's shield?
no, but I think he could stop it with the Force.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, yeah.
So right. So I mean, like, but I mean, toe to toe, I think that Captain America would fall short.
I think too.
You
Yeah.
know, possibly the Hulk.
Right, because like,
I mean, he's a rage monster. I
and
mean,
like, but can Darth Vader stop him with the Force? Can you just push him back and just like, you know?
right? Like, yeah. I mean, so is there any? I mean, possibly Apocalypse. We talk mutants, maybe. I guess Xavier with the mind.
Oh, true.
I mean, he could probably Magneto because Darth Vader has the metal suit.
Oh, that yep.
So I guess we're gonna
All
go
he has to
X-Men.
do is just like crush him with his chest piece, and he'd be dead.
Right. So, yep. So I guess X-Men beats Star Wars, but Avengers are their asses kicked by Star Wars.
Yeah.
And also, so Tatooine has two sons, right?
Yep.
Do you think Superman would be extra powerful then?
Oh, that's true.
I mean, I'm not a big Superman fan, but
I mean, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because he's already super powerful. But and that's my problem with Superman is I think he's too overpowered, and
I love
they can't do anything with him. There's, I mean, like what Batman's more interesting. I personally like Green Lantern and Nightwing are my favorite people in DC.
I was at a gig. I was at a gig like a month ago, no, 2 months ago, and Green Lantern was just like on a TV that happened to be where I was facing, like that wasn't facing the audience. The one with Ryan Reynolds that everyone hated.
Yeah.
Although it's not a great movie, I was enthralled with this movie. The subtitles were on, and I'm like singing and playing and doing my stuff, and I am just glued to this TV. And like every time I go to commercial, I'm like, okay, cool, I can kind of focus on what I'm doing.
Right.
And then like I'm back, I could go back, and I'm still just watching it, and like it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
Right. I mean, but yeah, you are absolutely right. I mean, like, if I came across it on, I would probably watch it for a little bit, especially if I couldn't reach the remote and I was drunk. You know? But like, as far as like, am I going to go out and search for it? No.
Right. Yes, I think I would agree. It's definitely one of those things where like you kind of get caught watching it on like FX when you get to your hotel room or something.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even know if this counts as Fandemic nerdy quality, but
that's all right.
Do you watch Yellowstone?
Love Yellowstone,
dude.
It's one of my favorite shows. 1923, the finale was just last weekend.
I haven't gotten into 1923 yet, or 1886 or 1880.
1883.
1883. I haven't gotten into those yet. I need to start watching. Everyone says,
yeah, you do. Yeah, they're fantastic.
I feel like I just get I'm on show overload. There's just so many to watch.
Oh God, I know.
And there's so little time. But Yellowstone, I was kind of anti at the beginning, and I'm just like, why is everyone talking about this show? Like, just get over it. Then I watched it. I'm like, oh my God.
Right. I mean, man, like I keep waiting for Taylor Sheridan to come up with like get into the superhero genre or something, because his world is so good. I mean, between Yellowstone, Mayor of Kingstown, oh gosh, like why can't I think of the one Sylvester Stallone right now?
Oh, Tulsa King.
Tulsa King. I knew it was Tulsa.
Great show.
Tulsa King was so good.
Gosh.
We talked about that show so much in Revenge of the Nerds. Brian and I, we talk about that show so much.
I was so impressed with it. And it's like, I hate to say this, but it's like a modern day Sopranos, right?
Yeah.
and the only reason I say that is just because it's a mob involved. But it's incredible.
And I mean, Sylvester Stallone is, if for anybody that says that he can't act, watch that show.
He's a badass.
Yeah.
I
You know,
mean,
Schwarzenegger got a Netflix show coming out soon.
really?
I guess so. I saw, I was scrolling through on Facebook and I saw like Arnold Schwarzenegger's first TV show coming to Netflix. And I'm like, really?
Sweet.
Okay. I mean, yeah,
know
I'm going
that
to
he was
watch it
still
for
on the
sure, you know?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, absolutely. I just think, Sylvester Stallone, he's still got it. He's still got his swag, and he just plays that character so well.
Yeah, and for being 70 something, 76, I think I think he's 76. Man,
he's
dude looks
amazing shape.
Freaking good, man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I hope I look like that when I'm 76.
Yeah, me too. I don't look like that now, but like, I mean, you watch this stuff, I'm like, man, I need to go hit the gym or something.
Yeah, I've been trying to get my dad on that show. He loves all the mafia stuff. Did you watch Sopranos back in the day?
Oh yeah. And I did a rewatch a couple of years ago as well.
Too.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the OG, like it's like the first of its kind of how all these shows like started doing their own thing too. But what an amazing show.
Yeah, man, it's definitely like one of those that built a generation. Like you could definitely see that a lot of shows now, well, even the Taylor Sheridan shows that Yellowstone, like, you could pick up some of that from the Sopranos. I didn't like the movie though. I can't even think of the name of it.
I never saw it. I didn't even know it came to fruition.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max somewhere. If you look up like the Sopranos prequel movie, you'll find it. And I just couldn't get into it. I tried to watch it a few times. I'm like,
do they have like any of the old characters in it? Is there?
Yes, you do. I mean, but this takes place like 20 years before Sopranos. I mean, like you get them, but like a much younger version of them. I mean, it's like a 70s kind of time frame.
I think it's kind of hard to remake that too, because it is an old show. Like it was done almost 20 years ago. It was 07 was their last season.
Yeah.
So I guess not quite 20, but it started in 99.
Oh man, feel old. Like, yeah, Sopranos has been gone forever. So what's your favorite TV show?
It's got to be The Office, and I know that's cliche. I do like it though.
Mine's Psych.
Oh, I like Psych. I haven't watched it all, but I do like Psych.
Psych, man, anytime that I am down or I'm just kind of in one of those moods or I can't think of anything else, I go to Psych. Psych is so freaking amazing.
I also have been really into Bar Rescue as of recent.
Yeah, is that still even around?
I think so. I watched it on Paramount. So I watch like all like the old episodes, and I just kind of go in order. My sister and I watch all the time, and I just love imitating John Taffer because he asks questions in a fashion that just rephrases what he wants to hear. And it's really a brilliant way of communicating, and a lot of people do it. But it's just funny to see him watch it because be like, "We didn't get along last night, did we?"
Yeah,
it's like, no, we didn't.
Right,
yeah, you're going to do a lot better, aren't you?
Right. You had some time to think about this. Yeah.
It's just like the only answer you have to say is yes or no, just exactly what he wants you to say.
Yeah. I'm going to get my way because this is my show.
Yep.
If you haven't figured that out yet, you're a dumbass.
Yeah.
And I'm here to help you because you're a dumbass. Yeah. So get over yourself.
Get you.
Yeah. Oh man. So music. We got to talk a little bit about music here, man. So you rocked B&B Theaters this last week.
Yes.
So you do a lot of country stuff. Do you do any original things?
So I have a few originals. Nothing. I mean, I'm not a full-time musician, and I don't plan to be. It's totally a hobby for me, and I'm not super creative on like the writing end of it. So I've written a few of them. Generally, they're about my angers with women, but in fact, all of them are.
Right.
That's kind of like when I feel like I get my best inspiration. I get my heart broken. But that's
spoken like a true country artist.
So what's funny is my country thing. I wouldn't consider myself a country person. I think you came during my country set.
Yeah.
And the reason why I did that, I have a gig at Beer Can Alley in Des Moines on April 14th. and I've always wanted to play there. My buddy Ted owns it, and he said you can play there anytime you want, but you have to play all country. And when I first started out, I had like 3 country songs, and the rest was like classic rock or alternative or the pop punks type stuff.
Right.
And then I was like, okay. And so then Beer Can Alley left, and then it came back, and I was like, man, I want to play. He goes, yep, you can play anytime you want. You got to play all country. I'm like, okay, all right. So I have an hour of country. All right. At the time, I think I had maybe a half hour, 45 minutes of country, and it's a 3-hour gig, so I've got to learn at least 2 more hours. So I figure that's about 20 songs. And for reference, so I build all my videos on Facebook. I play all the parts, I sing all the parts, and then when I play live, I play with my backing track, and I mute a vocal and a guitar track. I play with myself. So last year, I recorded a total of 13 songs. I don't know. That's basically, one a month, a little more.
Yeah.
Wasn't trying to record more or less. That's just what it turned out to be. So I have to record 20 songs by April 14th.
No fun.
So
you got 2 weeks. Oh, I guess you got a little more. You got like 6 weeks.
I think I'm up to at least a good hour and a half. And I've got to get more, but it's been a big challenge. So when you came, I was doing my full country set because one of my friends said, I want to hear all your country songs. I said, well, the second set's just going to be all country because I want to time it to see how long it'll be.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of country, and then I took another break, and then my last set was all pop punk stuff. I try to play a wide variety of stuff.
I hear you. Like, so I've written 2 kids books. I got 2 out there on Amazon.
That's awesome. I didn't know you were a writer. So like how long have you been writing?
The second kids book was called Stuffed Animal Night Force versus the Dream Invaders, and it's about stuffed animals that come alive to ward off bad dreams. I wrote that years ago, but I've always been a writer. I have a creative mind, but I can't draw. So like really? I'm going to Fiverr to get my books illustrated. But I'm good. I got a plan for some scripts, stuff like that, and I'm working on a semi-scripted podcast. Hopefully it'll get done sometime whenever I have time to do it. But like the gist of that is called Superish. And so you total comic book trope where a comic goes by Earth and now 1% of the world has superpowers, super abilities, but they're not all that great. So one person can fly, but only 6 feet in the air. One person can talk to inanimate objects, but the podcast is actually going to take place on YouTube, and it would be a support group for these people that have super-ish abilities.
That's brilliant. That's super fun.
Thanks. You could definitely be one of the parts. So because I wanted to create something that I could come up with a mystery. So like I have to have like a reoccurring cast, like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
But then like if I wanted you to come on, you could make up I could give you a superpower, and then you could make like, hey, on the support group we got Nick, or you go by your superhero name or whatever, and then we're like, how you doing? And then you could tell this fantastic story about your super ability and the troubles and all that kind of fun stuff. So
you ever see the movie Sky High back in the day?
I love Sky High.
That reminds me of like the Sidekicks, right? Like the guy who can just glow.
Right?
I glow.
Yeah. Or like awesome. Mystery Man.
Yes. All American Man.
The Shoveler.
I just think that's an excellent idea. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, that's kind of my. I got a loose outline for about 10 to 12 episodes, but I want to get like probably 25 or 30 before I even like start putting pieces together, and then stuff like that. If I'm going to rely on other people, then I got to like think about their time and coordinating. And between between the podcast, Fandemic, working. I do all the. I host trivia. I
Yeah.
host bingo. I have a Uno tournament tomorrow.
Seems
I
like a guy
do.
who would play D&D. Do you play D&D?
I want to get into it.
Yeah.
So like I have, but I've never really gotten into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a some D&D at the theater this month
Nice.
to before the movie comes out on March 31st.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually made contact with a guy um yesterday when I was working, and I was too busy to call him back, but I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow. And because like I know what I want, I don't know if it's possible.
Right.
So I want to have different like D&D dungeon masters,
Yeah.
but I want to have like 3 different levels, so anybody could walk in, build a character, take that character on a quick little mission, and in like an hour, and just experience what D&D is. I think that'd be fun.
I didn't know what D&D was. And then my friends all played. They said, you
Mhm.
need to join our D&D group. And I'm like, no, that's lame. I don't need to know. I'm
Sweet.
busy. I'm an adult. I have a job.
Right?
Blah, 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 blah. And I just come to one session, and our dungeon master, Brandon, and his brother, Nathan, they have 2
Mhm.
campaigns and we follow them both. And Brandon does different voices
Mm.
for everything as dungeon master should.
Right.
That dude should be a voice actor because it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible to listen to him. When I first started, I start like laughing because he's my high school buddy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, and this guy, if you knew him in high school, he was like a pretty boy, tall, muscular, like all the girls loved him, and secretly he's this like nerdy guy who can do all these like crazy voices. And it's
Yeah.
like, really? Wow, I'd have never expected that.
Nice.
But
I'm going to
yeah,
be narrating a podcast sometime in the next couple of weeks. More to come on that on soon. It's not my project. I'm doing it for, but I'm going to be the narrator, and it is X-Men related.
nice.
So it'll be pretty cool.
Are you a voice guy? Can you do like the different voices?
I could do my own, but like
Yeah.
I mean I'm not trained. I haven't tried. Like I got a pretty decent Joker impression of Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick, I love your music, but
I love that.
I'm more of a coming soon to a theater near you,
You
type
have that,
of.
yeah. You have that like that, yes, deep narrator voice.
So yeah, I'm pretty much looking forward to that, but it should be a lot of fun.
Do you
So
remember when you would watch VHSs like the Disney ones, and it was
Mhm.
that really loud preview was like coming soon to theaters. Then you had to like jack down the volume, and it's like,
like
up.
I thought that would be like one of the coolest jobs ever, is to be the voice of the trailers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get to see all the trailers like way before they come out.
Yep.
It's just like I think it'd be so much fun.
That would be a ton of fun.
Right? Oh man, so cool.
I think another job that would be fun. I met a guy, the guy who tunes our piano, my parents' piano.
Mhm.
He does like a bunch of like radio commercials, and he just like does the
Mm.
singing for it. So he doesn't have to write them. He doesn't have to write the jingles. He doesn't do it. He just records the jingles.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun. Like
Yeah.
he was a part of like so many different projects like that I'd heard of, and I was just like, oh, like that's you. That's awesome. Like that has to be a guy. Who is that
Right?
guy?
Yeah, it's like kind of crazy, like how there's so much stuff out there like that.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Love
And
that.
then I just haven't found the right. I mean, like I see, I love my job at B&B. I have a great time.
Oh, you been there?
Yep, I've been there. Well, I waited tables there for 3.5 years, and then I took this job
Has it
where
been
I do
open that
marketing.
long?
What's that?
It opened. When did that open? 2019.
It's been there for a little over 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
The pandemic kind of took obviously a lot of that.
Right. Yeah. But we're building back, and we got some big things going. I mean, we got live music every Friday night, and then I do like a Uno tournament. It's kind of cool because like I come up with these crazy ideas, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Sweet.
really? Like, yeah. What do you got? Let's do it. I'm like, oh, I didn't expect you to say yes. So,
Right.
but okay. Yeah. So I want to do Uno tournament.
That's
I want to
awesome.
do Clue, but here's my spin on Clue. It's Clue, but it's also trivia. And okay. I'm like,
Well, great.
Sweet. It's like a dog chasing his tail, and I finally caught it.
Right? And
But
the organization and the thought that has to go into all those games is you take advantage of, or you take
Mhm.
take it for granted when you're the person going to experience it, but the thought that goes into all those games. One of the guys in our D&D groups writes trivia
Mm.
games. His name's Connor, and he's an awesome guy. But he wrote an office trivia game, and so some of our guys live in Texas, some of our guys live in Iowa, so we meet in the middle, generally in Arkansas or Oklahoma, twice a year to play D&D. And on the way, Connor has his trivia games out, and the questions that he thinks of are amazing. Are you familiar with The Office? Do you watch it? Have you seen it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So one of my favorite questions that he asked is Andy Bernard's a cappella group had, I can't remember how many members, like let's say 7 members, name 4 of them. And it's like, I don't know. You think the Office, like I couldn't, and I know Andy is Boner Champ, and then you have Broccoli Rob.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, well, who else?
That's awesome. So, man, I'll definitely get with you because I do have some D&D plans for this month. So I'll have to check in with you, maybe figure something out.
Yeah.
So that'd be super cool. All right, so we are just at about an hour. So Nick, yeah, Nick. So where can we find your music? Plug it.
Yeah. So Nick Hermann Entertainment on Facebook, and Herman is with 2 N's because we're
Yes.
German. Yeah, Nick Hermann Entertainment. Then on YouTube, I'm Nick Hermann, and it's videos where I, like I said, record all the parts and sing all the parts. So yeah, any of those things, and then I have all my events posted on Facebook, generally around the Des Moines area, and then I also started DJing weddings on the side, as well as doing the live music deal. I played at a wedding, and the guy asked me, "Do you DJ too?" And I said, "Yep."
Do now.
Sure, I'll figure it out. I got all the stuff for it. So, but yeah, that's kind of where you'll find me.
Awesome. So you can tweet at me at Fandemic3. You can message me on Facebook at the Fandemic. I'm also active on TikTok at the Fandemic1. Usually I just put clips of my podcast on there. If you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/the Fandemic. If you do that, myself and Brian will toast you or roast you on the next episode. You can go to Patreon at patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic, become an episode assistant, an episode producer, a pre-bench producer like Stacy, or yes, you could be part of the Council of Nerds, starting at $5 a month. Become a monthly supporter on Anchor. Go to PayPal or Venmo at Bradley Butin. Just put money back into everything, or just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Don't forget to leave me a 5-star review. So thank you for leveling up my awesome and being part of the Fandemic family, Nick. Please tell everyone, well, you already told everybody where they can find you. So, Nick, I like to end every episode on a positive note. What are your words of wisdom?
My words of wisdom. I've learned that in this world, if you want something bad enough, you'll do what it takes to get it.
We're all playing the same game in life, just on a different level. You're welcome for leveling up your awesome. Live free or die empty. If you think about it, every time you feel stupid, you just got smarter. And last but not least, squirrels' cheeks are also their nutsacks. Have a great day.